tell, for the viewers that's watching, tell them a little bit about, Philly culture. Because a lot of people don't know how rooted and how impactful, Philadelphia's culture is.
Oh man, Philly is, it's a grind and it's a grit city. Like Philly, if you can make it out of Philly, you can make it anywhere, man. It's a rough stop. They booed Destiny Child. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's a rough stop, man. But if you get the love in Philly, they'll love you forever and they're gonna rock with you forever.
Nah, bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam, ala rasulillah. It's your brother Amir, and I'd like to welcome y'all to another episode of the Perspective Podcast. Now, this one here is going to hit different for me. Hopefully, inshallah, it'll hit different for you. But my guest today is someone I hold in extremely high regard. Someone I've known for over 2 decades. His consistency and his upright character, his manners, and just everything about him has always been, repetitive and continuously genuine. So without no further delay, my brother, y'all know him as Philadelphia Freeway. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's up, bro?
Man.
Alhamdulillah, man. We here.
I can't do nothing but smile. Because it's like, it's just so much to unpack. Yeah. Not enough hours in the day. So we just going to get right into it. So I've known you for, over 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm talking about bumping into each other with the matching chapards, all-star games.
Definitely that.
Because we were the rookies of the year, what I'm saying?
Sure.
I was the rookie of the year at Bad Boy. You was the rookie of the year at The Rock. Our paths used to cross a lot.
You know, the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Carry to make your face better, don't matter. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then, alhamdulillah, come full circle, and I became Muslim.
Alhamdulillah.
And Islam has always been, at the forefront of who you are. But I had the privilege, of making Umrah, which is a minor pilgrimage for those of y'all that don't understand. My first Umrah was with you and the brother Jack Frost.
Yeah, man. Beautiful, mashallah.
And that was just like, breathtaking experience. And it's like, I don't think that experience would have been that meaningful with anybody else, because it was somebody who understood where I came from, exactly. What I was going to, what I was about to sacrifice and leave all for the sake of Allah, and just, having that experience.
Allah don't make no mistakes, bro.
No mistakes whatsoever.
It was meant to be like that. Allah truly makes Muslims, man, because I don't even know if you remember or not. We was in Atlanta. I think we was at Late House. My man Leighton.
Yeah.
And you had came over there. This was before you was Muslim. And I excused myself to go pray.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think to one day you'd be Muslim. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
It's beautiful.
That's crazy. I remember that too. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing people don't know about you. And that's one of the things I want to highlight in this conversation. Because it's like, from being in the music business and just entertainment in general, we put out one impression of ourselves.
Yeah. And
people just run with that. And they don't even search or look for any variation. It's just like whatever we put out there, that's who you are.
Yeah.
And I think even when we did the State Property 2 joint, mm-hmm. When you got your scene, when you in this, you in the cell, you reading the magazine, mm-hmm. fold up the magazine, make salat. It's like you always made sure that people understood.
Yeah, they told me just be myself in that joint.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's what you did. Mm-hmm. My story was funny because I just came on the set to just, say what's up to everybody. And Dame, being Dame, he like, yo, you know how to read? And I thought he was playing. Like, Like, what you mean? I know how to read, man. But he was talking about scripts.
Scripts, yeah.
But you know with Dame, with Dame, you always gotta be on guard. He's like, so I'm capping like, yeah, I know how to read. So Dame immediately like, yo, call, get him on SAG, because you can't speak on film unless you sign, with the Screen Actors Guild. So Dame got me on SAG and everything like that.
Yeah, me too. That's how I got on SAG.
That same day, right?
Probably so. No, yes, they probably took.
Yeah, Dame got me on SAG that day. Yeah. And I was like, I was Big Loco.
Mm-hmm. You killed it too.
I had fun. Yeah. So, where do I begin? So I remember like, okay, let's go back to the Faith Evans video shoot. Mm-hmm. At first, it's funny because when I got there, I ain't gonna even lie, and I probably never even publicly said this. I was kind of, I ain't gonna say in my feelings, because I had the original version for Burning Up. Mm-hmm. And then when you did the remix and they start adding other instruments and all, I said, man, they going out their way for this dude. He ain't even on Bad Boy, right?
Shout out to Just Blaze.
Yeah, Just Blaze. Yo, Just Blaze touched that joint. That joint went somewhere out of the stratosphere. And I was just like, man.
Like, it's all good because I told you I was salty when you did the Freeway joint with Tony Braxton.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I was like, why they ain't put me on that joint? Why they put bro on that joint?
I don't know if you wanted her to hit the freeway though. But yeah, man, I remember on the set, and I remember like, we was looking at each other's arms.
Yeah.
And we both had the matching Chapars. I think you did something different with your bezel. When I was looking at my joint, it was like, like off the rip, we just had something in common.
You know how impressionable videos and TV is. My man that was with me, my old head, Muslim brother, he got in trouble with his wife because he was in the video, like on the two-way, getting the girl, like.
Oh man, stop playing.
She didn't even understand we was acting. That joy came out, she was grinding him up, yo.
And was on the couch for like a couple months.
Like it's a video, like.
Nah, that's crazy. Well, they say art imitate life, know. And speaking about, art imitating life, tell, for the viewers that's watching, tell them a little bit about, Philly culture. Because a lot of people don't know how rooted and how impactful, Philadelphia's culture is.
Oh, man, Philly it's a grind and it's a grit city. Like, Philly, if you can make it out of Philly, you can make it anywhere, man. It's a rough stop. They booed Destiny Child. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's a rough stop, man. But if you get the love in Philly, they'll love you forever and they're gonna rock with you forever.
That's true. Cause I ain't even lying. In the States, most of my record sales was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But like, when I used to go to Philly before I was Muslim, as a New Yorker, we always trying to find a piece of what is normal for us. Mm-hmm. Like, we always trying to find a piece in New York everywhere. Yeah. But in Philly, it was like, it just wasn't there. Y'all had your own thing.
Yeah, we had our own swag.
Yeah. And not to take nothing away from, other surrounding states, but it was like, y'all just had your own thing, your own slang. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like, because like, honestly, I was the type of New Yorker, I thought everybody outside of New York was country. Mm-hmm. Like, I was a real New York. I was a real Harlem baby. Like, I used to think cats in Queens was country because they had they had fences and stuff in front and grass in front of their house. It's like, as soon as you get grass in front of your house, like, to me, you was country.
Yeah, we always looked up to New York, because of hip-hop, because of what y'all did for the game. But we always had our own thing in Philly.
Yeah, I definitely had your own thing.
And another thing, it's a large Islamic community in Philly, so you might walk down the street, you might see somebody with their pants cut short and with a big beard. You be like, "Salam alaikum," and they be like, "What's up?" They're not even Muslim, but the influence of the Muslims is so large in Philadelphia. You got that going on.
Hey, listen, I ain't experienced that till I became Muslim, and I start withholding my salams. Mm-hmm. Cause I like salam somebody, the boy Muslim, no.
Yeah.
So I just start waiting. I get salams, cause like. You're right, you know what I'm saying? And it took me to become Muslim to really see that part of Philadelphia. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The impact of the Muslims in that city is so like widespread.
Yeah, the neighborhood I grew up in. I'm originally from West, and then I moved down north. You know, I used to go back and forth down north all the time to see my family, but I actually went to high school down north. And in the neighborhood where I was from, we had 3 masjids. You know, so it was really no excuse.
Yeah, definitely. So you was born Muslim or you
No, I
became?
wasn't born Muslim. I took my shahada. I was like probably like 12 or 13. As soon as I was old enough
To
to
understand.
decipher religion,
Yeah.
and, you know, my dad, alhamdulillah, he wound up taking shahada. He passed away last year, but I wound up taking him to take shahada probably like 10, 15 years ago. But he had us on something crazy. We used to go to this thing called the Nation of Akibalan. It was like an African-based church.
Okay.
And it was a guy named Bob, and he had like 8 wives, and they was like vegetarians. And we had land in North Carolina. We used to go down there every year, you know. So I had an understanding of religion, but when I was old enough to decipher it for myself, Islam just made sense to me. Everything made sense.
SubhanAllah, man. May Allah give your father Jannah, inshallah.
Inshallah, I mean.
Yeah, you know, that was one of the things that definitely solidified, you know, my faith is when my grandparents who raised me, and my grandfather, he was 96 years old when he passed. He had took Shahada like right after I took Shahada.
Alhamdulillah.
You know, his name was John. I just used to start calling him Yahya. I started from like just calling him Yahya. And I remember one time I gave him this book called The Explanation of Kitab Tawheed for the Truth Seeker. That was like the so I gave him the book. And I remember one time I came in the house with a couple of the brothers. And my grandfather, he was wild because he'd come outside, you know, he'd come out of his room with like his robe on, free balling. Like, but you know what I'm saying? But he come out with the robe on. He just came out of nowhere and it's like, guess what the first thing Allah created? I'm looking at the brothers like, oh man, this man about to embarrass me, man. He said the pen.
Wow, alhamdulillah.
Went right back in his room. So in my mind, I'm like, he didn't just read like the contents or the first page. He went in there because when it started getting to the explanation of creation, it's like in the book. So when he hit me with that, I was like, SubhanAllah, like he's really reading this book. And then when he took Shahada, like that did a lot for me. And then when I came home, my grandmother, you know, Rahimahullah, she was 91 years old. And she took Shahada before she passed.
Alhamdulillah, that's beautiful.
So it's like, you know, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned that, you know, when we return to Allah, you know, that we'll be with the ones we love. But we also understand that to be that, you know, they have to be believers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, may Allah unite us with, you know, our loved ones who accepted this blessed deen in the hereafter, inshallah.
Yo, check it out. It's your brother Amir, formerly known as Loon. And on this episode of Perspective Podcast, sponsored by Paid Meals, the Pay It Forward mobile application coming soon. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, Paid Meals is one of the most trusted companies when it comes to giving back to people in need. We have an array of partners from grocery stores, restaurants, food trucks, food carts, and certified private chefs, and a host of nonprofit organizations. So if you're interested in joining us in this fight against hunger and food insecurity, you can visit us at www.paidmeals.com, and you can register as a contributor, a receiver, or a participating vendor. The Paid Meals 2.0 mobile application coming soon, December 2023, inshallah. So without no further delay, let's get back to the Perspective Podcast. Enjoy the show.
So yeah, I wanted to take this opportunity really to highlight a lot of things that people don't know about Freeway. You know, we talk a lot, of course, online, offline, and you know, we delve into a lot of things. And first and foremost, you know, the impact of adversity.
Yeah.
You know, we was talking about, you know, the trauma that we carry just on a regular basis, being African Americans.
Exactly. As soon as we wake up.
Yeah, you know, it's there. You know, and even though we have the ability to leave those bags sometimes, but we become so attached to trauma that we carry it with us everywhere we go. But then when real adversity strikes, You know what I'm saying? Something that Allah ordained. You know, I always tell people that, you know, patience can be implemented in two ways. It either could be by choice or by circumstance.
Yeah.
So that means the minute that you impact it, you can choose at that very moment to be patient, or you can be pushed up against the wall till you have no choice but to be patient. So the reason why I'm alluding to this, because, you know, you've suffered something that no man, no woman, or no parent on the planet ever want to encounter.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies, bro. You know.
So I just want to highlight the fact that, and may Allah reward you, because I think that the type of person you are and how you received by, you know, millions around the world, without a shadow of a doubt, I believe that the sympathy was just, you know, at a peak level, you know, when you lost your son first. And then later, you know, you lost your daughter. May Allah grant them both paradise.
Amir.
But I think the takeaway for me, because you know how it is when someone lose someone, a lot of us, we very reluctant and hesitant to try to aid or assist, because, you know, you can't fathom what a person is going through. So you're really on eggshells. You don't know what to say it, how to approach it. Sometimes, like me, just send a text, you know, but somebody you love, so you know they need to hear your voice, and all of the conflict that comes with making that adjustment. But I can definitely say the way you endured these hardships, you made it very easy for people to reach out and show their support and show their aid. So, you know, if you want to expound on, you know, what it took to do that, you know, I think that a lot of people will be able to benefit from that.
Alhamdulillah, man. Just first and foremost, Islam, man. Like I attribute everything to Islam, man, and having an understanding of Islam and understanding that Allah is not gonna put nothing on me that I can't handle.
No, I'm sorry.
You know, some things I've been through before that, because like it really started at September 2015 when I was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure. So I was on dialysis from September 15th, 2015 to February 5th, 2019 when I received my, you know, new kidney gift of life, alhamdulillah. And then 2020, my daughter was diagnosed with cancer probably like September 14th of 2020. Then the next month, October, my son passed away. Then right after he passed away, you know, we rumbling, we back fighting, and you know, we went through a whole another battle. You know, man, you talked about it that people don't even know about, like religiously, and like you know, it got real serious and real deep. You know, just that alone, like you know, really changed me. You know, and then 2021, my daughter passed away. You know, she passed away. She lost a fight with cancer. Alhamdulillah, you know, I really believe she's gonna make it to Jannah because of the person that she is and the heart that she has and the love that she has for Allah, for the Prophet, peace be upon him. Like you know, and that was the only thing that really gave me like solace and everything. Like, cause you know, we went from Allah is gonna pull us through this to okay, like now I gotta make sure you understand. Like I'm drilling these what you need to know and what you need to say. We drill by her bedside, like drilling it in her, like you know what I'm saying. And that's like one of the roughest things I had to do in my life, bro.
No, I already know. I mean, you called me, you know, one time you was in the hospital by a bedside, and you know, still to this day, you know, every time, you know, I speak to you, every time I think about you, it's like, man, you know, it brings me pleasure to know that you actually see me that way, that you can reach out to me at a time when I'm pretty sure you have an array of people that, you know, support you, that's always in your corner. But when you reached out to me and I had the opportunity, you know, to see your daughter in those final moments of her life, you know, may Allah grant her Jannah.
Amen.
I knew that this was just another testament of your strength.
Yeah, bro.
And alhamdulillah, to see, you know, it's the perfect time to kind of highlight all of the things that you're doing now, you know,
Yeah.
because like I said, the average person who would have faced some of these things would have immediately just, you know, got belligerent.
Yeah.
They would have just lost their stuff. They just, you know, immediately probably just went, got drunk, blamed the whole world, you know, attack anybody that felt like they had some contribution to this or whatever the case may be. And these are characteristics of those who, like you said, don't understand.
Exactly. Like,
They don't
never
understand.
for a second did I think any of those things.
Exactly.
Not for 1 second. Not even. I know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I have a complete understanding of what's going on. So, you know, I like I said, I took solace in that, man. And, you know, it's not easy to deal with. You know, then the next year, 2022, my dad passed away. You know, he had dementia the whole time we rumbling. So, like, you know, it was me, my dad, my daughter. Then when my son passed away, it was me, my dad, my son, my daughter. Then when my son passed away, it was me, my dad, my daughter. Like, you know, he would be asking for Jihad, like, what's up, where Jihad at? Like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, every time I have to tell him, he'd be like, oh, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so, alhamdulillah for Islam, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I got friends, I got people that lost people, and their whole world was crushed and their whole world was devastated, you know.
No, just recently, like, you know, with the passing, you know, a young Cheese, you know.
Yeah.
You know, may Allah make his grave spacious, you know.
Yeah, shout out to my bro Gil, man.
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah. And a lot of people don't know Gil Muslim. We used to be in the masjid together all the time when we was young boys. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know you was telling me because it's like, you know, I had caught wind of it, but, you know, because I remember, like, back in, like, 90s, knowing Gil, you know, Ab Lava, and, you know, major figures, and, you know, I was always kind of acquainted with
Ab Muslim, Spade Muslim, like a lot of them Muslim.
Dutch Muslim too.
Yeah, Dutch Muslim too.
Dutch Muslim too. And that's what I'm saying is like the history, and just, you know, people don't understand this because, like I said, everything is always tied to this industry, but people don't know the history that, you know, a lot of us got prior to the industry.
Even when we went through the beef, like, you know, and it came to a point where, like, I'm like, Gil, we prayed in the same masjid. I can't do nothing to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm going to do after that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, alhamdulillah, we had that insight, you know.
And then to see you by his side, you know, for me, I said, you know, what better person, you know what I'm saying, that's already endured this. You know, may not have been the same circumstances, but, you know, loss is a loss, you know, and that's something, like I said earlier, you know, no parent could really fathom.
Yeah, every time, man, Allah come through like that. Like I was telling you earlier, I was on dialysis from September 2015 to February 5th, 2019. I got a kidney transplant, and then when my daughter was going through what she was going through with the cancer, she had to get a couple operations. So I had an understanding of what's going on. I could actually show her, like, look, baby, I've been through this too. Like, I had to get my drains taken out and all this stuff. So that gave her a little more ease because I understood what was going on. And that's because Allah put me through what I went through, and I had the understanding of it afterwards.
Sure, I remember when we made Umrah, you know, you was on a plane.
That's when it started, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's crazy because I was there. Like, bro, you coughed all the way from Saudi to Dubai. It started off like 2 hacks, and I was like, yo, you all right? He was like, nah, I'm good. And then it just kept like.
Then the crazy thing about it is, what happened was I had fluid
in your lungs,
build up in my lungs.
I remember that.
From the diabetes. I didn't know I had diabetes and high blood pressure. I was diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure. And we was out there, and I was eating what I know, like a bunch of Skittles and candies, and I'm just making it worse, bro. Remember we was tearing those Skittles up?
Somebody man got Skittles all the way out of Saudi Arabia. But it's funny because you ain't have no symptoms. It's like, it's almost like Allah preserved you to make that Umrah. Not a single symptom of anything. As soon as we got on that plane, it's like,
I take you even deeper than that. The first time I made Umrah, I wasn't supposed to leave the country. Like, my passport was suspended. So I'm riding to the port like I'm about to drop the brothers off. I know they not gonna let me. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah, I went through. I made it. You know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah.
SubhanAllah. Like,
You know what else is funny though? I remember when I was trying to get you out to Egypt.
mm-hmm.
I had a whole plan for you. Like I was gonna lose your passport on purpose by accident. Cause remember I was like, yo, bro, I'm
Yeah, I
out here
remember you told
studying.
me,
Yeah,
man.
I was trying to get Mutar too. You know what
I
I'm saying?
still think about that.
Yeah. Yo, wallahi, I was like, cause me, you, and Mutar, you know, people don't know. Like when we was going out to speak to the youth together, you know, it had a very, very lasting impact on a lot of the youth to see just the diversity of where we all came from, where we ended up in the business, and then we all ended up Muslim.
Yeah,
And that right there is what prompted me to be like, yo, we all should just go study.
Yeah.
You know, I was fiended out for
So
knowledge
that's
at that point.
Rockefeller, Bad Boy, and
In
Death Row.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, and I'm saying these kids is looking like this is not accessible.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't touch them teams right there.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't put a fingerprint on nobody on Bad Boy.
Exactly.
You couldn't get within arm reach of nobody at Rockefeller. And you definitely didn't want to go near nobody from Death Row.
Yep.
So to have us all sitting at the same podium talking to the kids, that's what prompted me. Because I was like, because it was the questions that was coming back that really made me want to study. Because outside of the obvious questions, you know, kids, you saw like, yo, is Puff Daddy Somali? I'm like, nah, Puff ain't Somali. Like,
I remember the first time I went to Saudi, they was like, give Dame Dash our salams. They think everybody Muslim.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
kids
nah,
over
for
there,
real.
they don't
Yeah.
know nothing but Islam. Like, you
yo,
know.
that's the first time I seen an Arab with an afro.
Yeah.
He pulled up in a Hummer with
they had,
playing
Tupac spray painted on
Yeah.
the walls out there. in
Yo,
Saudi,
I was like, yo, and you know, and that's just crazy because for me, I was at them budding stages,
mm-hmm.
leaving all of that stuff to accept Islam.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I went to study, like you said, I know you probably still think about it. I still think about it, even though I accept what Allah decreed. But as a human being, you know, who has weaknesses and deficiencies, I always like just pondered for small periods of time, like what would have happened
Yeah.
if me, you, and Mutar would have stayed out in Egypt, studied, came back, you know what I'm saying? And,
It ain't too late. We still breathing.
nah, it definitely ain't too late.
Oh,
Inshallah.
you about to come to Philly? You said when you coming?
On the 8th.
Yeah, Mutar gonna be there on the 9th. Inshallah.
Oh, yeah, see?
Yeah.
Qadarullah, masha
Qadarullah.
fa'ala.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I'll
even,
get together,
that's
inshallah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to do something.
For sure. I think he coming to speak at one of the matches or something. So
Oh, yeah?
yeah, we should all get together, inshallah.
So now, let's talk about what you got going on now. Because let's talk about some of the projects we doing in the educational space.
Yeah. So immediately when I was diagnosed with kidney failure, instead of hiding it from the world what I was going through, I chose to share what I was going through because I was running around with 3 of the risk factors for kidney failure. One being hypertension, another one being diabetes. And surprisingly, like, you know how we just was saying, just being African American, we faced with all these challenges.
Yeah.
Just being African American is a risk factor for kidney failure.
SubhanAllah.
So I had 3 risk factors for kidney failure. I had examples in my family, like my cousin Shandia, she passed away. She had kidney issues. She wasn't taking care of herself. She died, left her kids. I was young. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't know what was going on. I just know she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I had an uncle that got a kidney transplant. He was back on dialysis. Then he wound up passing away last year. So I felt like it was my job to spread awareness. So
Yeah.
right now I'm the celebrity ambassador for the National Kidney Foundation. I work with Gift of Life, and I have my own foundation, Freedom Thinkers, Inc. And I have a company, a for-profit company called Freedom Thinkers Academy, which is music, health, education, and culture. Mm-hmm. On the education side, we got some STEM workforce development programs. So far, we graduated 3 cohorts of students. We're getting ready to graduate another cohort on Tuesday on the 5th, a phlebotomy cohort of students. You know, I partner with different organizations in Philadelphia. I partner with OIC. In Delaware, I partner with the community education building. And we bring those classes to the kids. And, you know, with the programs we got in Philadelphia, we can even pay them while they take the courses. If
Wow.
you're 18 to 24, you can qualify to get paid while you take the course. You take the course, you get the certification, then we assist you in getting jobs in that area.
SubhanAllah.
You know, so in my city, I'm pretty sure it's going on out here too. It's a lot of violence and negativity, and a lot of these young folks is doing this stuff because they don't have any opportunities.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because not too long ago, I did a talk. Actually, I did several talks, and I always highlighted, the good, meaning the impressionable part of Philadelphia, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But in this particular setting, I was addressing the violence. And not just the violence, but even the Muslim participation in some of the violence. And I think that, for a small percentage, I would say the majority of people who, this message reached, they understood that this situation has spilled over from being just a public or an isolated issue, And
It's so crazy. I'm gonna give you some game. Like, when I buried my daughter, it was like a Thursday, and I think I went back probably like that Saturday, and it was two. Of course, we buried them in the Islamic section of the
cemetery. Yeah,
it was 2 more full rows of people in like 3 days, bro.
SubhanAllah.
Like, it broke my heart, man. Like, it's crazy. It's majority of Muslims, bro. It's so sad, bro. Like, sad, man. Like, they don't even care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like.
And see, like you said, it's crazy because I wouldn't even say I received any flack from the statement. I think it's just certain individuals who process it the wrong way.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. That's definitely what it is.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, that's why I mentioned that it's something that outgrew Philly. Because, see, each city we come from, a lot of the brothers that's with me today, a lot of them from Newark, New Jersey. Newark is not too shy from, having, influx of violence in this city as well. And the thing is, we believe these are isolated situations.
Yeah, they definitely
But when they
are.
start to spill over, it's just like anything else that transpire in the world in general, whether it's the issues in Palestine, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we don't look at it like, who am I to speak about Palestine if you don't live in Palestine? Nah, it's impacting me all the way over here.
Exactly.
So as Muslims, it's our duty to enjoin what's good and forbid what's evil.
Yeah.
So, just to expound on that, you mentioned something that's key, and it's the reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Because we about problem solving. You know what I'm saying? We not about holding hands and kumbaya and keep talking about the issues. It's like
it is people in the city putting work.
Absolutely.
Like,
There's a lot of brothers that a lot of brothers putting in work.
There's a few Islamic communities that's thriving, that's doing their thing, and that's setting a good example, for the young folks out there. But
yeah, and I visited.
Bottom line is it's crazy, and we really need a change. Like,
And may Allah rectify our fears.
Amen.
But like you said, you on the right path to creating an alternative to this violence, and that's what I think it is. It's like, if you don't have nothing to replace it, just advising a kid or trying to, I guess, expose the reality of what they're living in.
Yeah.
That's just scratching the surface. Like, they already know that.
Yeah.
It's all about coming up with solutions.
Exactly.
And when I was young growing up, violence stemmed from choices that we made dabbling in the street. But like you said, the reasoning for us being there is what justified this stuff.
Exactly.
Even though it's not justifiable. You know what I'm saying? We normalize a lot of the things that actually contribute to our destruction.
Yep.
We have to normalize these things because of,
we all been in that seat.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
I talked to one young brother. I don't know, the kid Jabril that box.
Yeah.
And I asked Jabril, because it's like, you hear all the elders, their version of what's going on, and they all have some valid points or as merit to what they perceive. But when I asked Jabril, I was like, yo, assalamu alaikum, like, let me ask you a question, like, why you think the young boys in Philly is wilding like that? He said, yo, man, ever since they cut them PPP checks, he said this joint went up.
Definitely did.
And it's crazy because this is coming from somebody that this is his peers. Like I said, it's like we see what we see from being elders.
Yeah.
But you always got to involve these kids because they are part of the remedy as well. Like, we can't have discussions about things about them without them.
Exactly.
So when I ask them that question,
you're never going to get any solutions if you do it that way.
Yeah, because it's like you might build a basketball court thinking that was going to remedy something. They looking at you like, that ain't what we wanted. How y'all making decisions without us?
Exactly.
You know, so that's something I've always been big on, is asking the people who are directly impacted. You know, and when he said that to me, I never thought of it like that. I said, man, that was free money. That was money that kids that never had money got.
Exactly.
You know, and it ranged from, you know, maybe 1,500 to, you know, couple bands. And it's like, what do you do when you 16, 17, 18, like you young like that, and you get your hands on some scratch like that first time in your life? Like, what do you do?
I know dudes that had $200-300 grand, they pop now. I had a homie that's Muslim. It said, man, you know what's gonna happen when this money run out, and they is on that right now.
That's what it is.
Like, for real, like, it's crazy. Like,
so the money gone, and like, it's crazy.
But you know, we trying to provide them with these opportunities, and if you had a choice, being in the streets, risking your life, putting your life on the line, versus taking this course, getting a certification, and going straight into the workforce, I think you would take that choice. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think those opportunities, the more they highlight it, I think a lot of the youth will start pivoting. Because the one thing you know about pride, you know what I'm saying? And I experienced this a lot, even like when I was locked up. You know, sometimes people would come to the Muslims to mediate certain situations. And it really be pride, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I believe, and Allah knows best, a lot of these young kids want to quit. They just don't know. You know, it's like, how do I do it without looking soft?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? How do I get up? How I do like what what's the name did on Boys in the Hood? You know, let me out the car, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially with the social media era and everything is being broadcasted 24/7. Like, don't nobody want to look crazy. Don't nobody want to look soft. Like, you know.
Man, may Allah help us, man.
Yeah, I mean.
So, definitely, you know, may Allah reward you for all your efforts, you know what I'm saying? And may He continue to increase you in these efforts and, you know, bring other people, you know, who are in positions of influence to aid and assist you in this. You know, because I myself, you know, I'm in the process of building a school as well.
Yeah.
You know, virtual school. But I just want to do like brick and mortar style just to control the social environment. So,
alhamdulillah, you could do both.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's more important. It's like controlling the social environment because we don't have the same programs that we had when I was young. We had Each One Teach One. We had PAL. We had, you know, basketball tournaments that all of the churches had teams and everything, and they would sponsor this stuff, and they would have scouts showing up, and it was a lot of things. There was a lot of incentives that was put in place to substitute or be an alternative to the things that was in the street.
Yeah, we had choices. We had way more choices. Now it's like it's nothing. Like, you know.
Yeah, we had way more choices, and we had good options. But I think now these kids have way more options than we had. You understand? I just think the influence of certain things have clouded them from seeing all of the options that they have. So, for example, like the bottom of the totem pole to me is like you could put out 30-second reels every day throughout the day and end up a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally could get in front of the camera and make a fool out yourself every day and literally make 6 figures.
Yeah.
That's an option we've never had. Like growing up, that was never the case. Nobody even wanted to make a fool out themselves or do anything. You know what I'm saying? That
when I first, it wasn't even cool to be a rapper. When I first
absolutely
where I come from.
Man, who you telling? Like when I grew up, it was like they wouldn't get no money. You know what I'm saying? Like the rappers was not getting money like dudes in the street. You know what I'm saying? All that hipping and hopping, all the break dancers, you know what I'm saying? They might have had 2 pair of lead jeans that they remixed the rubber bands, changed the laces in their
Yeah.
sneakers. It was like they was remixing 2 and 3 accessories that they had.
Yeah.
And you could tell because it's like you get money, the dudes just get money in the street, ain't even wearing the same stuff twice.
Mm-hmm.
So we was young, seeing the difference between what it was like to be, you know, in hip hop, you know, break dancing, graffiti writers. That was like the most, I guess, misunderstood thing ever for me growing up, because it's like I don't understand where's the monetization it comes with you marking up everything.
Yeah.
And like a train go by, I know your name, but there ain't no face to attach to the name.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I would have to catch you in mid tag to be like, oh, you such and such.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it just shows you how we was trying to reach out. We was trying to get out. We was trying to escape. And I think that this generation is the opposite. It's like they trying to go in.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this question because, you know, I say this a lot, and I hope that nobody think that I'm trying to glorify, you know, my accomplishments as far as abstaining from the music, or try to belittle anybody who may still, you know, struggle or, you know, deal with that space. But for you being in the business, you know, for all these decades, you know, you've been able to witness every transition from the time you got in the game to this generation now. And I think me talking to a lot of the youth and talking to a lot of parents, they literally are so fixated on the fact that hip-hop is playing the most detriment and significant role in the behavior of the kids today.
Yeah.
You know, so I want you to kind of expound on, like, first and foremost, like, you know, how it was for you coming, you know, in the game, but then getting to this point today where you're still very much relevant in that space, but you are, you know, on the playing field with a whole new generation of kids who playing the game from a whole different level.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like when I first got on, it was totally different. Like first and foremost, you really had to be who you say you are in them raps. Like, you know what I mean? You couldn't do no fraud and you couldn't do no faking. There was no overnight, now I'm a kingpin and this and that.
Yeah.
You know, and I told my story. Like even like with like one of my biggest records, What We Do Is Wrong.
Yeah.
I'm telling you my reality and giving you game so you don't got to go through what I went through.
Exactly.
And like even the first couple lines in that joint, we still hustle till the sun come up. Crack a 40 when the sun go down. It's a cold winter. No matter what your job is or what your hustle is, you can relate to getting up and going to get it. Like if you a trash man, if you a doctor, if you a lawyer, if you like a teacher, whatever you are, you can relate to having to get up and go get it. That's why that song still resonates to this day. And as far as me now, I just keep it a bean and, you know, just do me and get the best version of me. Like, you know, I stick to what I do. I never, like, fell victim to trying to be like anybody else or try to follow any trends, you know, and it worked for me. As far as the music that the kids is making now and they glorifying, it's crazy. You know, it's definitely like, you know, in my city, they will actually go shoot somebody and rap about it on the song.
Astaghfirullah.
It's the craziest thing I ever seen. Like,
yeah, that's crazy because it was some website or something they had out there where the kids was keeping score.
Yeah, like
it was like
wild.
the best 3-point shooter, and like, yo, you know, I was like, yo, are you serious? And it's like,
they be like, what happened to such and such? He did, shot him in the head. I'd be like, yo, this is like, this.
And it's sad because, you know, in our, you know, generation when I was out there, like you said, you were given contrast in your records.
Exactly.
It wasn't glorification.
We was
it's like, even though we know, we know what we're doing is wrong. We know it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But this is the hand we dealt.
And then as I grew as a man and, you know, had more understanding, it was like a lot of things I had to stay away from. Like, you know, I couldn't even, because it's not me and I can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of things I won't even touch or won't even, you know, go to because I know it's not right.
And you know it's crazy, like every time I tell people I don't do music no more, and they always like, why you don't do music? It's like, you know, the first thing they say is like, you know, well, Freeway Muslim, or this one Muslim. And I always like, you know, that's my brother, man. That's between him and Allah. But it may be something he better at that I'm not. You know what I'm saying? That was just one thing that I didn't struggle with abstaining from because I fell in love with, you know, learning the religion that you already was invested in understanding. I didn't have that, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I
bro,
felt like
I take my hat off to you, man. The way that you was able to just leave it alone and never go back to it. And you know, me and you done had plenty of conversations.
Plenty of conversation. It's
And
crazy.
you got some heat in the tuck
Yo,
too.
listen, it's crazy, right?
When you was in Philly,
Yeah.
and you let me hear them jewels. I was like, bro, these jewels is like
And
right now.
those is unreleased joints. I remember having a laptop, I think, when we was in Saudi. I was telling you, like, yo, this was my next album. Like, this was the album I was about to drop. You was just like, yo, what you gonna do with that? And be like, yo, I don't know. Because we had, you know, sat with a couple of scholars out there, and they was advising us. And I was just like, you know, this is what I came for. I came to make this pilgrimage. I had you, I had Jack Frost. I was shocked Jack Frost knew Arabic because we was going places and I was, you know, he had a little bit of Luga and I was like, man,
Alhamdulillah, that's
you know,
that Philly.
yeah, we wasn't getting beat out of our money or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these journeys, and the reason why I wanted to add contrast to, you know, us striving upon something that's perfect, but we not perfect.
Exactly.
And it's important that people understand that because one thing you learn about the Muslims is like we don't really attack each other's shortcomings, you know, because the brotherhood that's established in Islam is just genuinely as black men in America. We want to see each other win. You know what I'm saying? So you try to mask, you know what I'm saying, or shield each other from, you know, certain shortcomings or deficiencies that come with our upbringing and try to highlight the things, you know, that's not foreseeable or the things that's not getting enough recognition.
Yeah.
So I also tip my hat to you because one thing I know about you, you're going to pray wherever. You're going to fast during the month of Ramadan. You always, you know what I'm saying, been an exemplary character when it comes to dealing with the people. You know, and I think that, you know, is a reason why Allah has you in this space. But like you said, it ain't never too late. So, you know, whenever you let me know, we
you always tell me that. I'm paying attention, bro.
Yeah, we going somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
It's going to be your choice, though. I don't care where it is. We going somewhere, you know.
Inshallah.
And hopefully we get our brother Mutar on board, too, man. You know, we got to get the three amigos back together.
Definitely.
But yeah, inshallah, you know, in closing, I just want to say, you know, by all means, you know, you've always been, you know, receptive to my call. And it's your turn now. Like, I'm waiting on you now, you know, to make that call. And inshallah, by Allah's permission, I'm going to be there front and center. And I definitely want to highlight a lot of the brothers in Philly, from the brothers and, you know what I'm saying, the bottom in IMFC, you know what I'm saying, Ali Davis, Abu Sajid, brothers in Germantown, you know, Hassan Somali.
Yeah, they got some, alhamdulillah, they got some,
Tahir Wyatt.
Tahir, I love Tahir.
Yeah, you know,
that's
it's like, and the reason why I'm highlighting these names is because it's important to understand that this epidemic that has, you know, festered in Philadelphia, I truly believe it take all boots on ground because the whole city's being impacted by it. And I know
they got some beautiful things going on in Germantown. Like they like bought almost the whole neighborhood, like the whole section, and you know they got some businesses going up that's thriving.
Yeah, may Allah reward them brothers, man. And like I said, may Allah reward all the brothers.
And at Philadelphia Masjid, they got some good things going on in the community. The brother Tone, they do a food market every Thursday where they feed like almost 500 families, man. Alhamdulillah.
And that's what I'm saying is like, you know, if anybody that knows me, you know, know that I love the Muslims. And I love that which is pleasing to Allah.
Nah.
Whether these deeds are being performed by a Muslim or non-Muslim, if it's something that's pleasing to Allah and it's something that Allah ordained to be something rewarding, you know, I'm on board, you know.
Yeah.
And also, I commend those that forbid evil, because that's just as important as enjoining that which is good. Because we can't send mixed messages out to these kids nowadays because they already, you know, damaged from, you know, not having clarity or understanding of some of the things that they involved in, some of the things that they're exposed to. And as elders, we have to make sure that the messaging that we put out there is clear. You know, because mixed messaging is just a form of, you know, confusion,
Yeah.
and in some cases deception. So, you know, I pray that you continue to bring clarity, you know what I'm saying, and creating opportunities for these young kids, you know what I'm saying, to get away from these streets. And may Allah continue to preserve you, protect you. May Allah grant your loved ones, your son, your daughter, and your father, you know, the highest level of Jannah, inshallah.
Inshallah, Amir.
And when we meet our Lord, inshallah, hopefully we able to sit.
Yeah, inshallah, man. I'm looking forward to it.
You know what I'm saying? I had a brother told me, when I get to Jannah, I'm going to be walking around ace naked with 2 black lions. I said, Akhi, they said you can have whatever you want in Jannah. I said, I couldn't even argue with him. I said, look, if that's what, I mean, that's what you want out, because, you know, Allah says, you know what I'm saying, is you know, it's something no eyes has ever seen, you know, ears have ever heard, and even the fruits, you know, and drinks in Jannah, no tongue has ever tasted. So, you know, it's a breath of air to have you here on the show.
Yeah,
You're my
it's
brother in
pleasure,
this
bro.
land.
You already know.
You know, and may Allah continue to keep our hearts united.
Amir.
Naam, bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad. It's your brother Amir. I just had an amazing interview with my brother. You know, y'all know him as Philadelphia Freeway. It's a very profound statement of the Prophet sallallahu